We're going to call this meeting to order. This is Dr. Ricky Scott calling the February meeting of the Mayor's Committee for Persons with Disabilities to order. So good afternoon, everybody. I hope all of you are doing well in this wintry weather, and that all of you are staying safe and healthy and taking care of yourselves and your families. First of all, I guess what we'll do is do the introductions, and I'll start it off. This is Ricky Scott, Chair of the Mayor's Committee.
Lawrence Carter.
Sharon Benton.
Hey Sharon, Donnie Best.
Ginger Rush.
Board Public Information Chair and Vice Chair. Good afternoon.
Lori Millette, Secretary.
Hey Laura.
All right. Do we have any guests?
I think Abram has just joined.
Okay. Anyone else?
Terry Waters has just entered the meeting.
All right.
Sharon Banks, City Manager's Office.
Good afternoon, Sharon. All right, is that it? Okay. Well, I'm sorry?
Philip asked if we heard him, and yes, we did.
Okay. All right. Well, first of all, what we're going to do, I want to get a couple of reports, and then we'll move to we'll shuffle the agenda around just a bit. From the Vice Chair, what report do you have for us today?
John Samuels just joined the meeting. Dr.
Good
Scott.
afternoon. This is Philip Woodward, the Vice Chair here. I have a couple of things I wanted to share with everybody because this will interest many of you all. The North Carolina Council on Developmental Disabilities is closely monitoring the vaccine situation for the COVID-19 vaccine. And we have a information page on our website that I will put in the comments, and I will send it to Lori. Last night, we actually did a COVID-19 vaccine webinar with the North Carolina Down Syndrome Alliance. A lot of people with disabilities have been disappointed and also been vocal about where they fall on the priority level. And the way that it works, there are 5 different phases of the vaccine rollout in North Carolina. North Carolina is currently phase 2. Phase 1 was for healthcare workers and people living in some type of nursing home or facility. And that includes people with disabilities who live in a congregate setting that's 2 or more people with disabilities, or some type of setting where they're being cared for by medical providers. Phase 2 is for individuals ages 65 plus. That's where North Carolina is now. Then phase 3 will include frontline workers, including teachers who are considered essential. And phase 4 is anybody ages 16 to 64 with a health condition. And that's where many people with disabilities fall if they live independently as opposed to some type of facility setting. So they have concerns about that, but that's where they are right now. I just wanted to share that information, and I'll share the website link if you all have any questions or you're interested in COVID-19 vaccine information. Of course, the vaccine is limited, so the state of North Carolina had to make difficult decisions about how to roll it out. But I just wanted to share that information and that update with everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any questions for Philip before we move on?
I do have a question. This is Paula.
All right.
So how do the people get to enroll in that? If I understood that they had to be in a certain type of eligibility.
There's yes, all the 5 phases, Paula, are based on some type of eligibility. And every time that one new phase opens, people in that category can go ahead and set up an appointment. There's a website through the Department of Health and Human Services website where you can get the links to set up or schedule your appointment, and I will share that in the chat comments and share it with Lori. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Secretary's report.
Hi, I have nothing to add from the secretary's desk.
All right. Do we have a motion to accept the minutes as submitted?
So move.
Do we have a second?
Second. Donnie Best.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded that the minutes be accepted as submitted. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Okay. Thank you. Treasurer's report. Sharon?
Unfortunately, I have not received that report.
Okay. Well, we might can help you out a little bit there on that. As it stands right now, I got from Mr. Edwards, we have available to the committee $3,800, and that includes the contribution to the Unity, to the event to help Southeast Raleigh with the pandemic impact. So we're pretty good there, and I will address the issue of the remaining funds later on in the meeting. But in the meantime, I invited Sharon Banks to come, and we appreciate her coming today to present to us some information about the ADA coordinator and where we are as a city. And so, Ms. Banks, it's all yours.
Hi. I am
Hey.
not scheduled for this meeting. I'm scheduled for a March meeting.
Okay, all right, that's fine. I didn't get that, but anyway, so that's cool. We'll have you for the March meeting.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. Do you have any report that you wish to share at this moment?
No, I don't.
All right. Thank you very much. And let me see here. Okay. Do we have any public comment at the moment before we move to the committee reports and the issue that I wanted to raise regarding our residual funds? Yes.
Hey, Dr. Scott, this is wow, Demetrius here. Hey, everybody.
You're a doctor now. Well,
no, I had to catch myself. No. I already have enough student loans as it is. So if somebody wanted to pay for me to go back to school, I will gladly take financial contributions. Had to catch myself.
Yeah,
hey,
so you got a
Scott.
report from, hey there, you got a report from the executive director?
Yes, I can provide one. Would you like for me to provide an update first or allow for public comments?
Yes, go right ahead and provide your update first.
Okay. Hey, family and friends. Glad to be before you once again today. Just a quick update. The Unity Day is going well. Thank you all for your contribution. Mr. Eric Dixon came and hung out with me, I believe, Tuesday of this week. He hung out with me for a long time. So we had great conversations. He was able to help pack some bags and give some information. So we are all set for Saturday. We're going to be at Southeast Raleigh. So Ms. Waters, thank you for your recommendation during the last meeting to provide resources to the children. So our goal is to provide resources to 1,000 adults and 1,000 children, and possibly 400 to 500 families with food. So thank you for your recommendation to include the young people, because we was able to contribute to the young people. So it's going to be a great event, and I look forward to just providing additional updates when those come.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go ahead with any public comment that you might have at the moment.
Yes, I have. Yes, Miss Gail in the participants. I'm going to allow her to chat. Give me 1 second. Hey, Miss Gail, are you able to unmute yourself? Miss Gail? Miss Gail?
Hey, Eric.
Okay, she might be having difficulties. I can try to come back to her later, but I do not have any public comments at this time.
All right. Anyone else?
I would like to ask what number we can reach Sean Abrams at.
Is Sean with us today?
Yes, Sean Abrams is with us this afternoon.
Yeah, yes, I'm here. I'm sorry I didn't hear the question.
She was asking for a contact number, so if you email me your contact information, I will make sure Ms. Paula receives it.
Okay, all right, will do.
Mm-hmm.
All right, okay. All right, well, what I want to do, before we move into the committee, any committee reports, I want to bring up the fact that in our budget, and I guess we can put this on the new business, but as it stands now, we have $3,800 left for the remainder of this fiscal year, which will end June the 30th. And in consultation with Mr. Edwards, it is projected that around $800 will be used for interpreter services expense, leaving us approximately $3,000 that we will have at the end of this fiscal year, unless we allocate it to some other community organizations. And what I've done, there are two organizations that I think are deserving of support from this committee. We have supported in the past, at least with the resources, one of them. Hi, who is that?
McLean.
Oh, she came, okay. So the two organizations, first one is First Family, which we awarded the Lockhart, the award here back in 2019, the Lockhart Volley Award. And as we know, this organization, Tara has been instrumental with this organization in terms of working with them and providing good information to me regarding this organization. And it assists children at risk for developmental disabilities, children with developmental delays, and adults with DD, and adults with traumatic brain injury. And some of its services include the support for the summer camp, therapeutic writing, and music therapy. And so this organization, I think, would certainly be one that we consider supporting. The other one is the Gms Alumni Association, which does much more than just an alumni association. And what it does, it works to promote the full integration of people who are blind or vision impaired and with other disabilities, including adults and children, into community life. And it works in the following areas: education, employment, and transportation access. Just to enumerate a few things here, it has a scholarship awards program where it provides a vocational academic award to a deserving student at the school, and it has worked to enhance voter education here in our community and across the state. And for example, it was one of the plaintiffs that helped to bring about the electronic accessible voting for persons who are blind or vision impaired and with other disabilities here in North Carolina. So it also has a pre-employment program that it has initiated that works with self-advocacy, interviewing skills, and those type things. And just to name a few of the things that the organization does. And so what I think would be good if the committee would consider providing the remaining funds to be divided equally among these two organizations before the end of this fiscal year. And are there any questions before any potential nomination from the committee in regards to this request? Hearing none, do we have
Dr.
a motion
Scott?
to? Yes, sir. Go ahead,
This
Mr. Parrish.
Certainly I favor the proposal. I have some hesitation that we give all of it. My thought is we need to have a little for ourselves to keep in case there's an unseen need. You never know.
Well, here's what I stated is this: the fiscal year ends June the 30th, and what we can do, and Mr. Edwards certainly can chime into this because he knows the latest when a submission can be made to reallocate these dollars. It may be as late as May. I'm not exactly sure on that. I know that's the way it used to be in the past. So what we're trying to do now is to have it in place so when the time comes for allocation, we're in a position to make that allocation. Obviously, we have made allowances for the $800 for the interpreter services for the remainder of the meetings that we have coming up. And so, so I think that if a decision is made to support this, that these funds would not be immediately released. It may be a couple of months before it's done, but I want to make sure that we have things in place so it can be done, so we will not run into the possibility of these resources not being used for worthy organizations that do good public service.
So the cupboard won't be bare until a couple of months or so down the road. Is that what you're saying, Dr. Scott?
Yes, yes.
I'd also like to add that we still have $4,500 in the reserve fund.
That's correct.
We have what, Laura?
I think it's $4,050 in a reserve fund. We've never.
Okay, all right.
Yes,
We'll
we have a
that
contingency fund. We have a reserve fund also that if, if anything happens, we always can access our reserve fund.
Okay, All right, well then, okay, then thank you for, I feel good about it now, completely, thank you.
All right. Do we have a motion from anyone to provide these remaining funds equally among these two stated organizations?
I make the motion.
Will you identify yourself, please?
Eric Dixon.
All right. Do we have a second?
I'll second that, Lawrence Carter.
All right. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of providing these remaining dollars equally between the GMS Alumni Association and the First and Family, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Thank you all very much for supporting these two worthy organizations, and I'm sure that the leaders of these two organizations would be, well, they will be greatly appreciative of this community support. So let us move to committee reports. Do we have?
This is Philip.
Okay,
I did
Philip,
not
go
hear
right
the
ahead.
name of the second organization. Could
Okay,
somebody
hold on.
please
Let me-
repeat the name of the second organization? Thank you.
First and Family.
No, I heard First and Families. What was the
Yes.
other name then?
The Governor Martin School Alumni Association.
Governor Moorhead School. Okay, I got that. Thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome. Okay, transportation. Do we have anything from transportation in addition to what Sean Abrams may report to us?
Beep, beep.
Donnie? Hi,
Hey.
everybody. This is McLean. Donnie, do you have anything? Because I don't.
No, I need to get with you. Ricky, you would refresh my memory about it's something to do with bikes and pedestrian, I believe.
Yeah, the pedestrian and bicycle committee. Yeah, I didn't.
Well, let me respond to that. In terms of the pedestrian and bikes advisory commission, what I did, I submitted to Mr. Edwards, Shakima McLean's name to give to the mayor for possible nomination to that committee. And so that's where that is at the present time. Mr. Edwards, do you have any additional information about that?
No, the name information was submitted to council, and so I believe they most likely will make an appointment. I'm not 100% sure, but when it comes, I will be made available. They always just send me a letter and just let me know. So once I have that letter, I would definitely follow up.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir.
Dr. Scott?
Yes, sir, Mr. Parrish.
Yeah, in the realm of full disclosure, I think it needs to be said that I'm rotating off that committee.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yes, yes.
I've had about
right.
2 years, but the other side of it is, the other side of it is, I'm not done until Gail Smith says I'm done. So,
I see. Okay. All right.
and when I get that, now who is that replacement, recommended replacement, Dr. Scott?
Ms. Shakima McLean. She's on our committee here, and she's our transportation chair.
Oh, okay.
So she has been recommended for that.
I want to make one suggestion to you, my friend.
Well, would you mind communicating to her? Would
Study engineering books.
Oh, well. Anyway, moving on. But seriously though, Robert, if you have any information that can be beneficial to her, I would recommend that you and she get communicate and have a conversation about that. We certainly would appreciate that.
Oh, okay. I'll get her information. I would be glad to do so, Dr. Scott.
All right. Thank you very much. All right, Mr. Abrams, do you have any kind of any report regarding the ADA paratransit that you wish to share with us?
Yes, sir. I do have a couple things I want to touch on. First of all, good afternoon, everybody. But the PNC arena, everybody's aware that they're doing vaccines over there. So I just kind of wanted to give some information about that as to what we're doing. We had a little confusion yesterday, so I'm just trying to get out as much information as I possibly can to everybody that I can. So when our vehicles go up there, being it the cabs or the City of Raleigh buses, the small shuttles, when they go there, they're gonna be entering off of Stephen Stroud Way. And once they enter through there, they'll be directed to a spot where the customers can actually get their vaccine right in the vehicle. So they won't be getting caught in the traffic. They'll just move right to that location. The folks over there, the staff there will come out, work with that particular customer, give them their vaccine right then, and then that taxi cab or whatever vehicle is off and on their way. So just wanted to share that in case any of you get any questions about that or concerns about that. There's no need for our folks in our vehicles to be waiting in the long line. Anybody have any questions about that? No? Okay. So the other thing I wanted to talk about is something that we've talked about a couple of times. We've discussed about the IVR system and folks receiving phone calls as to what their ride schedule is. We're still working on that. We're still working with Route Match. We have on the 27th of this month, we'll be moving over to the AWS system. And what that is supposed to do is that will improve speed and stability. Will it help with the IVR system? That we'll see. The assumption is if we're improving our speeds and our stability, that yes, it will help, but we won't be sure of that until we see. And
what is that? What is the acronym again, please?
It's the AWS. That's the Amazon Web Service.
Thank you.
So we're moving over to that. And like I said, it's supposed to help with speed and stability. Now, we're not looking at this as the end all to be all and think that this is going to solve all the problems. But it's a start. We continue to work with Route Match. We have some meetings coming up in the next couple days. And we continue to push for certain improvements, and we continue to, take advantage of viewing all of our options, everything that's out there. So, and I'll leave that at that. But that's all I got. Anybody got any questions for me?
Yes, this is Ricky Scotty. I have a question in regards to, in terms of the notification options. As we know that these systems can provide both telephone notification and email notification. So my question is, will the email option be included, or why has it not? Or at least, will you look at adding that as another part of the communication process? Because there are times when you get a call from the trip notification system. If you don't answer the phone and they're supposed to leave a voicemail message, well, you will get oftentimes a message that says there's a problem with relaying the information, but the bottom line is the information about the trip is not provided in the voicemail message. So what we need, since the technology is there, for both to be provided for those who wish that option, that they get an email notification along with the telephone call.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yes. So like I was saying with this, moving over to the AWS, it's supposed to help with the stability. Now, the issues we've had in the past is once we open up these different gates for the system to do different things, it hasn't been able to handle it. So it would cause issues. So the hope is with moving over to this system that it would take care of some of those things. And again, we're not looking at this as, hey, this is going to solve all the problems. It possibly can. It addresses some of the concerns, but we're aware that it may not. And we are still in talks with them about what are we going to do if this does not work.
So let me make sure I understand this clearly. That this particular option in terms of telephone and email notification is one of the items on the agenda to see if that can be integrated into the service provision process packet. Is that correct or not? Is that a correct assumption of mine or what?
Yes, that is a good and correct assumption. That is my goal to have so that we can contact you by phone and by email to use everything that the system is able to do.
Okay, and one final question. This is in regards to the notification of recertification or eligibility for the paratransit system in terms of that information being automatically shared with the T-Links or the regional transportation rather than having a problem where you get recertified. You may need a trip a month later. You call up there and they say, well, we don't have an update on your ADA paratransportation for Raleigh. So what are we going to do to make sure that there is cross notification automatically so that customers will not be faced with having to call you all to have you all to react? In other words, we need to have a proactive process so that this stuff is automatically done at the time recertification occurs.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Like as we talked about it the other day. I just recognize that this is a potential. There's a potential to add additional things to the service to help out, because that would help. Not only would it help out the customer, but it helps out the call center staff where they're not having to take these calls for someone who's wanting to be a visitor somewhere else. So definitely want to look into that because that helps everybody on all sides, and it does make sense. But whether we'll be able to do it, not sure about that at the moment. Just recognizing it as something to even consider.
Well, here's my question is this. To me, sitting on the outside, it seems a straightforward and common sense thing that systems should be able to do. We know this is done in other systems, and to the extent that we are integrated with the system with the regional, we know that technology exists that it can be done, and we are desirous of this being done not only for ease of transmitted information, but it makes your job easier if the problem is fixed. Since we are aware this has been going on for years, and we know that the technology exists. It's a matter of processes being put in place to make sure that this is no longer a problem. And we would hope that as you are working with the folks, that a process will be put in place so that we can put this one to rest.
And just to be clear, I see it the same way you see it, that it should be as simple as putting in processes.
That's great.
So definitely we'll work on that. Don't know what will come up, what will be any roadblocks are, because as I said, we just I just recognized this the other day as something that we could potentially work on. But yes, I agree with you that this should be something and could be something where it's just a matter of having processes in place.
All right. Well, we'll be following up with you on that from time to time to see where we are in that within that process development. Thank you very much, Mr. Abrams, for your report.
Well,
we
I
look forward
have
to continue working with you. Go ahead.
I have
question?
a question.
All right.
When we speak of the email, do you all have everybody's email on file, or should we send an email address in?
We don't have everyone's email on file. That would be something, again, that we would have to add if somebody if they want to be a part of that process or not. Or we would look into how we would gather that information from folks.
This is Donnie
Well,
Best.
let me share this as a point. Let me share this one as a point of information. About 2 or 3 years ago, I do remember when this automated system was being put in place. And I had a conversation with your predecessor about this, and for a time, for about 6 months, I was receiving email notifications of my trips, along with the voice telephone notification. And after those months passed, the email aspect of it disappeared. So we do know that such can be done.
Yes.
And so as long as we move in that direction, and that this is going to be something that we can expect for those who wish to participate, then we're improving the program and we're improving the processes, and that's
Absolutely.
what we are expecting.
This is Donnie Best. I was just wondering, in certain aspects, are we looking at it in terms of either or both?
Both.
We're looking at both.
I mean, if the person does not desire to give the email, can you just have one?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense for it to be an option there, but.
Oh, okay. I'm just, because what happens in a lot of these cases is the assumptions aren't even thought about, because, you know, and making the process available and everything like that, just like MVs, it's not a good idea for MVs to go pick up somebody at Sam's, because it's just not thought about. But and in terms of in case somebody does not or may not have email access, and there should be just one if that's what is useful for them.
That was why I was asking how
I thought you were
to get the email in, whether we should send our emails to you or to them or what. Because if you don't have an email, it would automatically not send to. But if you have it, and if they don't have any,
Dr. Scott, Dr. Scott, this is Eric Dixon.
Yes.
One of the remedies that we could use to kind of solve this problem is if recipients of the service ever email in a trip, then that email will be captured. If you don't email a trip, then they don't have to worry about capturing your email and responding with an email, but making sure that regardless that it is followed up with the automated call to let you know that a trip has been scheduled for you.
Or you could also just add it into the form when you're signing up for this program.
Right.
Whether or not you have an email or not, or do you want just maybe just the phone calls, whatever. But should be part of the form, as part of the process, put one or the other or both.
Yep. Okay. Thank you all for your comments. I'm sure Mr. Abrams has recorded all of this, but he and I will continue to be in conversation about these processes.
Absolutely.
All right. Any other questions for Mr. Abrams? If not, we'll move to the next committee report.
Hey, this is Ronnie Marshall. I apologize for being late, but I'm here.
How you
All right.
doing?
Thank you very much for that, Ronnie. Mr. Parrish, housing.
Thank you, Dr. Scott. I went to the last meeting of the Congregations for Social Justice, which does have a housing committee as a part of that organization. I am planning on being a part of that housing organization as much as I can be to get more of an understanding of what's going on in terms of justice in Raleigh and surrounding area. And in attending that their last meeting, they had it was actually their annual dinner via Zoom, and they had as a guest the head, a Miss Sage of the Museum of what's that museum called in Greensboro? Somebody help me. The sit-ins took place at Woolworths. Anyway, they had the chair of that. Go ahead.
Go right ahead, Robert.
Okay. I can't, the name of the museum escapes me right now, but she was very enlightening as to the history of that museum and what it stands for. And, you know, and she invites us to tour when it's open again for tours. But that was very insightful. I enjoyed that. I also helped an individual with an application or two to find more suitable housing. And that is my report.
Question,
all right.
Donnie Best. Is there any word as to the bond that was passed and where the money flows into? You see the amount of people, Dixon, Lawrence, that crowd, know about anything about where this money is going, any signs of it, any discussions as to locations? And I know some of the money is going to be spent on enhancing and improving already existing ones, and then there's supposed to be some new ones. I'm just wondering if there's any information around about that yet.
Are you talking about the $80 million, the bond that was passed?
Yeah.
I think there's, now Robert, you can correct me or Lawrence, but I think they are still in deliberations about the allocation of those dollars.
That would be my impression. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Lori, do you have anything you want to report regarding the scholarship for this year?
I sent out the application. I have received some questions, so I know some people are looking at it, and Demetrius is working to get it on the website. I haven't checked to see if it's there.
All right. Okay. Thank you so
Dr.
much.
Scott?
Yes, sir.
Quick interjection. That's called the Civil Rights Museum.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Greensboro.
All right.
I'm just getting old, Dr. Scott.
Just getting old? Okay. Thank you, sir. I'm assuming, let me see, Tara Waters? Did you have any comment? Thank you.
I don't have any updates on the awards banquet, but I would just like to say how encouraging it is to see the willingness for the committee to pivot to help the communities that are really in need at this time, and really focusing on how we can help serve all those who the committee is designed to support. So I'm really, really impressed with the work that's being done and glad to be a part of it.
Thank you so much for your work and your support as well. I guess John Samuels is not here. I don't recall
I'm here,
his name.
Mr.
Oh,
Scott.
yeah.
Dr.
Okay,
Scott, I'm
John.
here. Yep. Sorry about
Go
that.
right ahead, my friend.
No, I do not have an update, but we are starting to discuss the planning for the event. But I will be reaching out to folks to start planning this out.
Okay. great.
What
all right.
what branch is this falling under? Which committee?
This is the Employee Resource Day.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yep. And did Andy Lands of Health, Wellness, and Recreation, did he show?
He is not here.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, we don't have anything at the moment for that. So, all right. Let me call. Is there any additional new business that anyone wishes to raise? Okay. Hearing none. Is there any additional public comment from anybody? Okay. Hearing none. Well, let me say I appreciate everybody coming for this February meeting. And we certainly look forward to everybody returning for the March meeting. And so I thank you all for coming. And the meeting is hereby adjourned.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.